all of you here, all of you here with us. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Michelle W. Kofer, and I'm super excited to be sharing this information with you all tonight. We want to talk about a non-traditional way, and I guess I shouldn't even use the word non-traditional way. We want to talk about a way to build wealth that most people don't know about. We want to talk about how we can build wealth in real estate, because the fact of the matter is we all know that real estate is a segue into wealth building, but we want to talk about a system tonight that will allow you to go from being average to extraordinary. As a way of introduction, so we're not totally strangers, I am affectionately known as a pivoter. I help families pivot to prosper. I'm a financial literacy coach, former social worker, grew up in the projects, you guys. Anybody ever, been through the school of hard knocks, living paycheck to paycheck, drop a 1 in the chat, but that was me. And I literally found my way into this place in 2017 after experiencing a period of unemployment. And during that time, I got introduced to the credit world, got introduced to the financial space in general, and the knowledge has continued to compound. And one of the things that about 2 years ago, I really start saying, you know what, Michelle, you got to get into real estate. And so God allowed me to be able to purchase some land. The goal is to build a multifamily there, but I wanted to do something bigger. Somebody put bigger in the chat. I wanted to be able to do something bigger in the real estate space, but I didn't know exactly what to do, how to start. Thought about getting my real estate license. If we have any realtors on the line tonight, go ahead and drop a 1. Any real estate investors, drop a 2 in the chat. But thought about getting my real estate license, but I was like, I don't want to do all the ripping and running, but I still want to get into real estate. And so guys, about 6 months ago, I got introduced to this phenomenal platform called Debt Cleanse. And I'm going to show you how Debt Cleanse and Note University have combined to be able to show us how to build wealth the same exact way that the big banks are doing it, the same exact way that these Wall Street funds are doing. We're talking these hedge funds. How are people amassing all of this wealth without having to go out there and buy the block physically, without having to leave their home? They're doing it through distressed and discounted assets currently held by big institutions, and they turning them into profits. So when we start to think about how wealth is built, Andrew Carnegie, one of the first documented millionaires in America, he said this years and years ago, that 90% of all millionaires do so through owning real estate. Somebody put real estate in the chat. More money is made in real estate than in the industrial investments combined. And so he said it right here. A wise young man or wage earner of today would invest their money in real estate. And guys, we're talking, he said that decades ago. But here we are, fast forward to 2023, when the economy is falling to loose. Fast forward to 2023, when economic crises are all around. We've seen '08, and Robert Kiyosaki says something almost very similar to Andrew Carnegie. He says real estate investing, even on a very small scale, remains a tried and true means of building up your cash flow and also building wealth. So tonight, I want you to ask yourself this question. How can I build a real estate investment portfolio without having to go drop hundreds of thousands of dollars, without having to have a whole laundry list of degrees and certifications? It's right here tonight. You're going to learn that. What are the most profitable ways that you can invest in real estate? I can tell you, many of us think the traditional way is, go buy a house, sit on the house, maybe let it grow in some equity, maybe eventually rent it out to somebody. Guess what? In real estate, y'all, the money is made in the purchase, not the sale. We've learned that wrong. And I want you to know tonight that there are, 5 main ways that people make money in the real estate industry, but we want to put you in the inside lane. In other words, we want to put you on game. Somebody put hashtag game in the chat, because we want to give you the game plan on how to build wealth, guys. And you do it the most simple way, the most easy way. And we're talking about the way that is actually the most profitable way. So think about it. Retail property sales. This is where, traditional real estate, you sell a house. That's retail property sales. And if you haven't looked around now, guys, it's lucrative, but it's extremely competitive. If you look at the housing market, some houses are being bought just like that. It's just too competitive, right? So you don't want to contend there. Then you got the rehab property sales. This is fix and flip. Now, this is good when you can find good deals, but you may not be able to find a good deal, and especially finding a good deal within your budget to be able to invest. Then you got your foreclosure auctions. Well, you got to kind of know some people to get in those. But even if you get into the foreclosure auction circle, which is very tight-lipped, it's still high competition, right? And you got to come with a lot of cash flow, a lot of capital to the table. Then you have REO sales, which these are bank-owned properties. And this is typically, not being offered at the discounts they were. I remember, in the 80s, I don't know if you guys remember carton sheets, but I remember my first opportunity to buy real estate investment. I probably was, I don't know, 2021, but it was very expensive to gain access to that knowledge. Well, the best way and the most affordable way to do this, we're going to show you through Note University, is to get access as the lender and the note holder. That's the fifth way. What do I mean by that? This is where you get to play the same game that the hedge funds play and that the big banks play. You get to hold the note. You get to be Wells Fargo. You get to be Bank of America, Chase. You get to be the big entity. And so the question you might want to ask yourself is this right here. If there's a lot of money out there on the table, what am I going to do to get some of it through these discounted notes, through these loans, and by you actually becoming the lender? So let's make it plain, guys, because I know for some of us, we've never heard this. You guys, listen, if you're like me and you grew up where a lot of people in your family did not own homes, put a 3 in the chat. Maybe some of you were fortunate to come from middle class. You can put a 4 if you grew up, but I did not grow up around people who owned anything. Most people didn't own even the appliances they had in their house, right? So they did not own their home. So learning how to build wealth through real estate was a foreign concept. But then my mind began to open because I got exposed to wealth builders. I got exposed through reading, guys. And one thing I started doing about 2 years ago was trying to figure out, how can I become a note investor? How can I get into real estate? And I looked at courses. I looked at a couple courses. In fact, one was about $7,000. And I looked at another real estate course with Coach Shakita, which was about $12,000. And I was like, okay, well, now is not the time to do that. But guys, I'm going to show you tonight a very affordable solution that will allow you to understand what note investing is. Number one, it's a promissory note. It's simply a loan. I remember when I bought my first house, I was 26 years old. My mortgage at the time was through DHI Mortgage. Well, guess what? About maybe 16 months, even if 16 months later, they sold my loan to Bank of America. So that's what happens in the banking world. So one company holds it, they sell it. So it's kind of like they maybe be bidding on, if you're going to be able to make your mortgage or not. But nonetheless, notes are sold. They're transactions just like physical real estate, right? And so these notes move from one company to the other. And when a note is bought and sold, which can happen many times, banks and institutions are the ones doing that. Tonight, we teach you how to be the bank. Somebody put in the chat, I am the bank. We're going to show you how to be the bank. So we take these non-performing assets or defaulted notes, and they're offered at a deeply discounted price. And so it's a way for you to be able to work your way into wealth. No investors, you guys, are able to buy these assets at deep, deep discounts. And then they're able to go out there and carry out the strategies that lead you to building a profitable portfolio, meaning you're making money, meaning you can start, and in a short period of time, you can flip that note. The same way as if I go out and I see a house down the street that's for sale and I want to buy it, as an investment home. I buy the house. I spend a lot of time and money. I got to pay for a hard hat crew. I got to, worry about if the vandals are going to come in and steal the water heaters. You guys know the things that flippers deal with. Well, in those situations, guys, I can take that property and sit on it and hold it. But guess what? I could also sell it. You do the same exact thing in the notes, except you don't even have to have the physical structure. Note investors work through licensed mortgage servicers and foreclosure attorneys. And so when you partner with us through this platform, whoever invited you to Note University to hear about Note University, you're simply going to have a legal team that's running the play. They're the quarterback. All you do is say, I want that property. You're going to point to where you want it. And guys, we have an inventory literally of thousands of properties all across the country, tens of thousands of properties all across the country. So I want to just show you a couple samples, right? So anybody out in New York, drop NY in the chat. I want to just show you right here. We know in New York, houses can be way more than $430,000, but let's just look at this example. This property is $430,000. The note was only $63,400. Now, this was an investor, so they came to the table in cash, but what I'm going to show you in a minute is a deal where maybe you don't have all the cash. Maybe you're like most Americans and you're not sitting on $63,000. So we'll show you how to get financing through this platform. But nonetheless, the purchase price on this property, on this note was $63,400. And guess what? This house sold last December, right around Christmas time, guys. And the note holder made a profit of over $14,000. So the note holder made a profit of $14,000 in just 9 months. So that's about a 21% gain that they made. All right. Now, this is a property out in Maine. This one right here is actually one that was financed. I want to show you this one because this is one that was financed. So this property is a cabin out in Maine, $115,000. Okay. The note price was $51K. So they came in and they financed it. So our company, through our platform with Note University, I'm going to talk to you about our founder, Mr. George Newberry. We will finance that for you. So they financed the property. They came to the table with a down payment of $12,750. They financed $38,250. But guess what, guys? They sold that property earlier this year, just a few months ago, at $81,000. Walked away with a $23,000 profit in just 6 months. That's 118%. Now, I want you guys to ask yourself this question right here. And we can talk about deals all day long. This is one down in Florida that was paid for in cash. But guess what? They could have taken this property, flipped it, turned it into an Airbnb or whatever, but they decided to go ahead and sell this property, and they walked away with a $20,000 profit. We could talk properties all day. We have an inventory that is endless, guys. Mansions, there's land. I mean, our inventory is super, super vast. So, no matter if you're looking in Georgia, Florida, Michigan, New York, Chicago, it doesn't matter. We have inventory all across the country. We have probably the hugest inventory of banknotes that are available in the market today. But I'm going to tell something right here. What you got to understand this is, guys, if you have the ability to come in and flip notes like this, imagine what your income potential would be. Imagine how your real estate portfolio and your income would actually be growing. Now, I've never heard, and I know a lot of people that get into real estate wholesaling and fixing and flipping, but I've never heard anybody say they've done 10,000 fix and flips. I'm getting ready to tell you about our founder, Mr. George Newberry. This guy has literally purchased and flipped over 10,000 banknotes. Mr. George Newberry is going to be the one who's teaching you the course. I'm not teaching you. The person that invited you here, they're not going to be teaching you. George Newberry, who is a prolific real estate investor. Listen, you guys, George has over 30 years in the real estate game. And we're not talking about buying a house on a street. We're talking about 4,000 apartment units, 1,200 apartment units. And let me tell you why I like him, because he really has a heart for the underdog. George ended up purchasing a community in Ohio, thousands of units, guys. The whole community was run down. No investor would take it. Literally dilapidated, prostitution, drugs, all of that. George took that property. He said, I can turn it around. And George, instead of staying in a hotel, he flipped that community. He lived in that rundown apartment building. And what he did was he took the workers, y'all. This is why I know this man has a heart's work for underdogs. He took the people of the community, employed them, gave them gainful employment, brought them out of the streets, and they transformed an entire community. He made millions and millions and became the model for investing in hard to flip properties. And I'm going to tell you, this is a guy who knows what he's doing. I'm not going to tell you all his business, but in banknotes last year, over $200 million. Okay. So you're in the right place. So he's going to be teaching you. He wrote this course, guys, to be able to give individual investors like you and me, who, little girls in a project, of single mom or dads who want to be able to build a legacy for their family, but like, I don't know anything about real estate. I don't know where to start. He's making this bottom shelf easy for us to understand how to have the same secrets that he had. I never seen somebody give away, if you will, the secrets that will put you in the same financial position to be in there as their neighbor. He's going to show us, and I say us because I'm taking a course too, so I'm excited, y'all. You have to forgive me. He's going to show us how to buy distressed mortgages. He's been doing this since 2008. Y'all drop in the chat. What happened in 2008? What happened in 2008? Let me see the chat. What happened in 2008? The mortgage industry collapsed. The bottom fell out. America had a recession like she had never seen. Well, guess what, guys? Tables turn. What goes up comes down, right? We've been enjoying the ups, right? So now it's coming back down. And if you look around, all around, people are in economic distress. The foreclosure rate is through the roof. I know right here in Atlanta, we have some of the highest foreclosure rates out of the entire nation. So foreclosure rates are up, and that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, guys. But think about it. If you're in the position to help the people as they hurt, you put your family in position to build wealth. Everybody, including George, who went in there and they started buying these properties and buying these notes up in 2008 when the banks were scrambling to sell them because they had to offset some of this property. They just had too much property. Guys, that's going to happen again. He's preparing us. Not only that, y'all, he has his own servicing company. This man literally owns the bank, right? So he's going to be able to give you the financial backing to support the deals that you're getting ready to acquire. He started a legal group, an activist group, a trustees group. He has the lawyers behind this thing to back it. He developed the financing for the note investors, and he launched pre-REO, which pre-REO stands for before real estate owned. So before the properties hit the market, where you can go in and now get access to these non-performing and in some cases performing notes where you're able to come out here as an individual investor. And so you're probably like, well, Michelle, what do I get? Like, I'm going to get a note investor course, but what's included? I'm going to tell you right now, everything you need to know about, one, who's involved in the note transactions, who the key players are, how you're going to be able to work with them. You're going to learn the lending basics, the fundamentals, like how do you become an expert, literally from the computer, from your phone, right? You're going to learn the terminology and vocabulary. Maybe you don't know what a performing note is or non-performing, and you don't know what an acquisition is. Guess what? We learn all of this in the course, guys. 10 steps to being able to build a profitable portfolio in this note space, guys. And we're talking about the Deal First Aid Lab. And I love this because every week we get to see deals live. So you're a part of a mastermind where it's people from all across the country, some of them way filthy rich, some of them just first-time investors. So you get to come together and you actually watch these deals be uncovered live. You watch people do the same thing you do in real estate. You bid on a house, you know, you give out the bid comes back, maybe they push back, maybe they accept it. It's the same, except guys, you don't have to physically own the structure. Now, sometimes you're going to end up owning a home, right? And in that case, maybe you want to flip it, want to turn it to Airbnb or whatever, but it's up to you. There's so many deals to be had, guys. You're able to build a business that's something that you can leave for your last name, right? And then also you get to walk away with the certification. So you're going to get all of the resources to be able to pass the exam, to be able to flip a couple deals, put some money in your pocket. Who wouldn't like a a five-figure check to hit their bank account? Who would? Put a yes if you would, right? That's the kind of money you make as an investor. So it gets me super excited, and I can't contain myself because you're able to come out here and become a certified masternote investor. Let me just do a temperature check right here. Anybody ever read Think and Grow Rich? If you have, put me in the chat. If you've ever read Think and Grow Rich, you know that chapter 5 is all about specialized knowledge. Guys, specialized knowledge means you put yourself in position where you know more than what the average person knows. Well, when you have the ability to be a certified master note investor, you have a skill set that 98% of America will never possess. Okay, so that means you know more than them. That means you can build more wealth than them. That means if you've been struggling and scratching and surviving, you can now do something that you can be super proud of. This is the one thing you want to finish, because once you got knowledge, they can't take that away. If you're a realtor, you got a certification, they can't take that away. You're a carpenter, they can't take that away. You do hair, they can't take that away. You become a note investor, nobody can take that skill set away. So I want to ask you guys this in the chat. What do you think this knowledge is worth? Go ahead, light up the chat. What do you think is worth to know that you got access to the same stuff that the banks have withheld from you for centuries? Now you got access. You're going to have the know-how by somebody who's not just talking to talk. This man has a documented portfolio. You can look him up. All he talks about is real estate. He's on top syndicated radio stations, publications. He's written books. This is going to be who's teaching you. What's that worth? $7,000? $1,200? Okay, $10,000? Let me tell you guys this right here. I have looked at real estate courses. I've been to real estate classes. And oftentimes I was like, man, I'm just not sure I'm going to walk away with the skill set to be able to do this. And so I know in order to make money, you got to take some risk, y'all. You got to, it takes money to make money in many instances, and real estate is one of them. But I wasn't sure if I could walk away and feel like I was confident. Y'all, knowing that I have the ability to be a master note investor and be certified, we're talking about less than $1,500, life-changing. Here, take my money. $1,500, you guys, $1,495. That is the investment to take this course that could literally transform your entire legacy. Bible says a wise man will leave an inheritance to his children's children. Guess what? This is that. If y'all ain't never thought about the wealth transfer, open up your eyes, please, because we are in it. This is it. This is where now systems, hear me right here, systems that have been hidden and prohibited from brown-skinned people are now very visible and in plain sight. You can either do $14.95, you can do 3 payments of $5.95. Listen, you might have a group of friends, y'all are investing together and stuff. You got sorority sisters, you got church members, a board member. I don't care how you figure it out, y'all. Get the money together to get in this thing. The price is going up. So if you are watching this right now, you have first opportunity to be in the first cohort of the Note University, meaning you get started before this weekend and you get this exclusive offer, $14.95, and you're going to be in position to build wealth. Nobody can take this away from you. So what I want you to know is this right here, y'all. You can see information and you can make a decision with that. Uh-oh, my camera went off. Has it been off the whole time? I don't know, but it don't matter because y'all need to see Note University anyway. You can get in position to, you can see information and get in position to make a decision with that information that you got. You can see information and just let it sit. And a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, when you see other people just thriving and prospering, you be like, man, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let me tell y'all this. I was in college. No, I was freshly out of college when the mortgage collapsed the last time. Freshly out. Knew nothing about the mortgage industry, knew nothing about real estate investing. But I'm going to tell you now, I know better. Many of you have more knowledge as a result of Google University than you will ever have, as a result of YouTube University, as a result of Clubhouse, and you will ever have. So we know now the way to get to the bag is in real estate. That's why everybody's trying to get into Airbnb. But let me tell you a secret. The money's not in Airbnb. You can make a very profitable income in Airbnb, but when do you ever hear an Airbnb owner say, I made $10,000 in 3 months? You don't hear people say that. Note investing is a proven and demonstrated way to be able to get into the real estate space without having to worry about buying furniture, without having to worry about having a crew, without having to worry about construction. Guys, you get into the industry and you can literally do these transactions from your phone. That's how simple this is. So if you're on the line tonight, you've been invested by somebody, they thought highly enough of you to say, look, I found a sure path to financial freedom and I wanted you to see it. Now I'm going to tell you something unique about Mr. George Newberry. George came to America as an immigrant. George does not have a high school diploma. We're not advocating for you not to get your high school diploma, be educated, but I want you to know that if he can do it without a high school diploma and all he did was go and find information and now he's giving that back, this man is married to a sister. And so he has a passion for the brown community. Why? Because he's married to the brown community. He is the brown community, right? So this is your way. Anybody, it's open to anybody, but I want us to see that for the first time, somebody is saying, you know what? Maybe we couldn't give y'all reparations. Maybe we couldn't give you 40 acres and a mule, but I can give you the knowledge to be able to go out there and buy up acreage. I can give you the knowledge to be able to go out there and acquire the block. And it's up to you what you do with it. You guys, $14.95. We figure out how to go to Dubai. We figure out how to go to Tulum. We figure out how to go to Fiji, wherever it is we going nowadays, right? We figure that out. And most times we break it up in payments. If you need to break this up in payments, break it up in payments. But guess what? They're still going to give you access to the course. Even if you come in with $5.95 tonight or tomorrow, by Saturday, for sure you want to take advantage of this deal because, you know, today's price ain't tomorrow's price. Okay, y'all, we all know that. If you just figure out how to get started, I promise you, you'll be so excited that you will finish out how to finish. And here's what I didn't tell you guys. Y'all ready? You complete the course and they give you a full refund. Boom, mic drop. Guys, you complete Note University and they refund you back your money. So in essence, you get all of this for free if you finish it. Let this be the first time you at least finish something. We're so used to quitting. We're so used to stopping. Guys, go through the course, invest the time, invest the time to learn from him. He's educating you. When you finish, you get your money back. Plain and simple. Get your certification, get your money back. Use that money to invest. And if you don't want to invest, there's opportunities here to crowdfund. You can put your money in a crowdfund, say, well, you know what? I don't want to buy a whole note, but I want to get in on the game and make a little money. Guess what? They give you a 9% return on your investment. You guys, this is game changer. Yeah, I see the comments coming in through the chat. This is game changer. I see people saying powerful, nowhere. This is insane, guys. So get back with whoever shared this with you, whoever invited you on here, whoever tagged you, and say, I am ready to be a Note University student. Let's go out here and build wealth, guys. Michelle W. Kofer, aka the Pivoter, helping families pivot to prosper. That's my time, you guys. We'll see you at the top. Take care. Thanks for joining, everybody. Good night.